We also want to welcome our viewers who are joining us from all across the state tonight. We've got viewers in Beaumont, College Station, Waco, Tyler, San Angelo, and points beyond. So thanks for finding us here on the Texas Daily. Hope you'll come back. Hope you'll bring a friend next time. Now, moving into tonight's Daily Viewpoint. This is, of course, Election Day statewide, and we've got our political analyst, John Weekley, joining us here. John, thanks for coming in tonight.
My pleasure.
It's a busy time, busy day for you and everybody who's kind of politically minded in this state.
But this is terribly exciting because this election is going to be sort of a special election in a way, because a great deal of what happens now is going to determine what happens in Texas in 2016.
Yeah. And just let's start with that. In reading the tea leaves, do you see a real shift in Texas politically? There's been talk of Texas going purple. There's been talk of the changing demographic, voting patterns, etc. What do you see from kind of the 30,000-foot level in Texas? Just looking at the demographics, it's probably going to be sometime in the 20s, maybe even the 30s, before Texas flips back to a Democratic state. It honestly depends a lot on immigration, what happens with the economy, and how many people from the North and the Midwest and so on move to Texas. But we're slowly but surely seeing that change, and as it changes, the other side picks up a congressional race here and there and so on, which impacts our electoral vote in November. And so Texas is going through the change. It's just a slow one right now. Gubernatorial race. What are you watching tonight? We are pretty certain what's going to happen in November. Right. The numbers we're watching right now and for this evening are going to be Wendy Davis. We're going to be watching Greg Abbott to see how they do. We're also going to be watching Wendy Davis's Senate seat in Fort Worth to see which Republican or which Democrats are elected to face off each other in November, and we've got some other races that we're watching as well on the statewide race, but the governor's race is the big one. And the lieutenant.
Do you think Wendy Davis's candidacy is going to result in a larger Democratic turnout this time?
I think that it will. I think three things will affect that. One is her candidacy, and there's no question that she's very popular in the state with Democrats. A second is President Obama's sort of permanent campaign structure has put a kind of a contingency group in Texas called Battleground Texas, and they brought in some extraordinarily competent consultants who are studying Texas and so on, and more money has been poured into the Democratic Party and into Wendy Davis's race. So that's going on. And I think there's some natural pressures going on in the Republican Party that may tend to make softer Republican voters maybe look at, well, maybe I want to vote Democrat this time.
John, we've had a woman governor in Texas before, Ann Richards. Ann Richards won. Also, George W. Bush defeated Ann Richards.
Right.
And so you've got a race with a male candidate, a female candidate coming up in Wendy Davis and Greg Abbott. How do you see that race playing out? I think both of them are kind of sympathetic figures. I mean, Greg Abbott, a tree fell on him. He's been confined to a wheelchair all his life. Wendy Davis, we read the story about single mom in the trailer house and all this stuff. So how do you think that campaign is going to play out?
As you and I have discussed before, a male-female race is always an interesting race. The Fred Meyer and Ed Strauss race is just such an example. But I think Greg Abbott has been very, very careful in this case and not run against Wendy Davis female, but he's run against Wendy Davis state senator, which he should. But I think that's a terribly exciting race, and I think right now it looks like the numbers are going to favor Greg Abbott in November, but a lot can happen between now and November. And
you think he's going to get any jokes from Clayton Williams?
He better not. He better not.
I hope Clayton's busy with his phones and things.
I think Greg doesn't have his phone number.
Yeah, that's correct. Because I think that one could go south very quickly.
Well, it could. And there's a lot more to get to. We're going to talk about immigration. We're going to talk about some of these uncounted votes and the future of the GOP. And we'll get to all of that in just a couple of minutes. We're continuing our discussion with political analyst John Weekley right after this.